In preparation for 10.1, well, our man Bellular has put together a video preparing for 10.1, the ultimate guide of what to do and not do before launch. So let's check this out. Let's see how we can prepare ourselves for the storms that are to come. That's right. We're going to head underground. But what do we need to do before we do so? I mean, Sam only knows one spec. That is very true. I played Blood DK.
Patch 10.1 is almost here. That means that right now is the time for preparation to finish things left undone, to make sure that you are in the best place possible.
Prepare yourselves.
For launch.
Don't be an Illidan.
Today, I'm going to bring together all of the different tips, tricks, and things that we have came up with of what things are going to be going away, what things will be easier in the new patch if you do a little bit of preparation, and just all of your options to have the best time you can with the game. And to help you do that, check out today's sponsor, squarespace.com/Bellular Gaming, where you can build your site for free and then send it live using Bellular Gaming, the code for 10% off. Now, I've used Squarespace for a long time. Their award-winning templates are just fantastic.
Make a website.
And by supporting custom CSS and code injection, you can actually do those fancy things if you want to as well. But all with the peace of mind of knowing that they've got fully featured e-commerce, memberships, mailing lists, and even more built in. They make the daunting easy. And as a business owner, as an example, I notice when people stand out. When somebody has a really nailed down personal brand, a professional looking portfolio, right?
At that.
All of those things improve your prospects and help you stand out in what is a pretty damn crowded world. When you share a link to your site, that forms somebody's first impression of you digitally, so make that count with Squarespace. And it's not just your portfolio. I mean, Squarespace now even supports creating a free link in bio site, which is brilliant for tying together your whole digital presence and just throwing it in whatever social media site you're using. Dead handy. Something you just know you can always link people to.
I'm certainly
I've used them for our job site, as an example, the one for our game project as well, and with their extensive and watertight features, I would recommend Squarespace to anyone. So hit up squarespace.com/Bellular Gaming. Once you go there, you can build your site for free,
Gaming
right?
promo code.
And then if you want to send that live to the internet, you can do so with 10% off an annual plan with code Bellular Gaming. A big thank you to Squarespace for supporting the channel. They've actually signed for the whole year, which honestly does also just really help. They've genuinely supported us a lot over the last while. So yeah, they're cool people.
Good to see.
With that said, let's get going.
Let's get going.
Now will be your last time to get quite a few neat rewards before they either disappear or just get quite a lot more challenging to get because of reduced player counts in older content. That stuff like the Razageth dragon riding customization, it looks awesome. It's not going away.
It looks awesome is an opinion that I honestly don't share. Now, we've talked about the mount that drops in Aberrus. That skin is unbelievable. I'm going to do everything in my power to get that skin. I'm going to be running that shit on LFR even if I have to get that skin. The Razageth skin, I personally feel like I feel like Razageth looks like a defeathered chicken for the most part. Razageth's I never thought Razageth looked cool personally, so I don't really care to get this mount skin. If I get it, great. But if I don't, I'm not about to lose any sleep over it.
The number of groups that are going to be running Razageth weekly will completely skydive because she's no longer current content. So definitely try to do some Razageth stuff while you can if you want that.
She's by far the ugliest of the primal incarnates.
Customization.
No doubt.
You've got quite a few chances too because it does indeed drop on every difficulty. Then we've got ahead of the curve Razageth, which obviously will no longer be obtainable when the patch drops.
AOTC.
So target that now. The good news is Razageth.
You guys can get it one more time. We've got it a bunch of times. One more time. Next week we'll probably get AOTC one more time for anyone who hasn't got it.
It's a lot easier because we've all got more gear, including the patch 10.0.7 catch-up stuff and the Onyx Amulet, and Razageth herself has been significantly nerfed, which does also apply to those of you in Mythic Land, because Mythic Razageth also got quite a few nerfs too. Over in Mythic Plus Land then, you've still got time to get your title and your mount for getting Keystone Explorer and Master, which are obtained at rating 1,500 and 2,000 respectively.
That's right,
and
got it
like
too.
Razageth with gear, the Onyx Amulet and Dungeon nerfs, this should be a lot more simple now, albeit still a bit time consuming. The mount from this is not amazing, but the title Thundering is particularly nice, especially for a Protection Warrior, Enhancement, or Elemental Shaman, or even an Outlaw Rogue sporting Thunder Fury. Should be kind of neat. For PvP, there are a bunch of elite appearances that are going away, including the customization.
Yeah, but I'll never get it.
But realistically, getting up to like 1800 rating from 0 is going to be pretty damn hard, unless you're a PvP veteran or somehow are genetically gifted for PvP, which I am not. But if you've only got a few hundred rating to obtain, now is a good time to try to wreck all the noobs who are also trying to beat FOMO. But enough about looking backwards and worrying about FOMO. How about we plan for the future?
That's right.
Let's make sure that you're not completely lost and bewildered. Thing number one, watch this series. This covers Emberthal's story. This will be relevant later on. And once you've done that, log in and play through the patch 10.0.7 storyline. If you have not made a Dracula Evoker, do make one first, because 10.0.7 storyline involves them returning to their starting zone.
Right.
The campaign leg in 10.07 is it's short. It's actually excellent with a few really nice, really well acted scenes, and it serves to set up the story for patch 10.1, including our first clash with the final boss of Aberrus, the new raid. 10.07 had a lot of lore content too, so do think about doing the Orc Heritage Armor quest, the Human Heritage Armor quest, and the Bane quest. Each one of those is exceptional, some really good content, and really good rewards at the end. Now, there is also a lot of...
If you love nostalgia trips, the Human Heritage Armor quest line goes back to the Defias Brotherhood, Dead Minds, all that shit. Gotta do it. It's very
lore
good.
Teasing in 10.0.7.
Awesome
Stuff that if you have it in your mind, you'll appreciate more of the new patch because you'll notice things that other people won't. And if you want to be good for all of that, then I've had the guys put together a 10.1 lore warm-up playlist, which will just collect our most recent lore videos that we think are just relevant to, well, you having a better patch experience if you've watched them. So you can check that out after today's video. Back to some practicality. So variety is the spice of life. Now is a brilliant time to expand your horizons and play a few new specs before you decide which to lock in for your 10.1 main. After all, realizing that you just don't vibe with your class halfway through a new season kinda sucks. Now, we are working on a video covering the winners and losers of 10.1. Matt is currently in the class mines, but he has popped up to give me his initial thoughts. Right, Shadow Priest, both Evoker specs, Ret and Prot Paladin are looking like pretty damn good fun heading into patch 10.1, while, of note, Mages, Hunters, and of course Guardian Druids are a little bit left behind overall in terms of changes and fun tier sets. Priest is an overall great pick. I'm a bit biased because I currently main one, but particularly
and the Priest tier set is the best looking.
This season looks pretty damn god tier.
Yeah.
Frost DK is also a silent winner because of some recent changes, while Warlocks are being suspiciously silent on Twitter, which maybe means that they're probably going to be a bit busted and they're trying to keep the lid on it and keep the attention off themselves for a while. Though Destro does
right now, the last time we reviewed DPS charts, Death Knight was actually on top, and then it was Warlock, but Warlock seemed to be always hovering around that first spot.
Locked into using Channel Demon Fire because of its tier set, so if you hate that ability, maybe you won't enjoy it as much. Also, any agility polearm users are a pretty good shout, and that's because there's a very rare polearm in this new raid that looks like a hell of a lot of fun to have, though of course, that only matters if fortune shines in your favor.
Nice.
Okay, we've got a video on all the big class changes coming soon. The best part here is, though, that with the new upgrade system that Blizzard are adding in the next patch, gearing alts is going to be even easier and faster than almost ever before. So maybe pick a few specs that you just want to keep in your back
Dragonflight's
pocket.
been the best
Probably
alt.
won't regret it.
It's been the most
bonus
alt-friendly
thing to do, by
expansion
the way, is to
in the
decide
history
if you
of WoW.
want to race change or maybe level a
No
new
doubt.
character if you want to see how the other side live. Because, of course, cross-faction guilds are a feature in patch 10.1. And that means that, I mean, hey, if you always wanted to be a Valpera, raid with your alliance friends.
Why? Why did you have to use that as an example?
The Guild of Worgen, but you just don't fit in because you don't want to be a Worgen, you want to be a Valpera instead. Well,
Valpera are a gateway furry drug. Everybody knows that. It's a gateway. It's a gateway character into the world of furries. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
You can do it, goddammit. With that said, let's have a chit chat about gearing.
Don't.
Okay, now that you've picked up your alt characters, let's get them ready, and you're in luck. The only real thing to do beside practice, UI setup, and that kind of thing is to gear your alts, which is super easy right now. You're not going to get BIS in a week, but you are going to be around item level 400 and maybe even in full tier. Farming rares, treasures, and events on the recently opened Forbidden Reach zone is going to get you a bunch of things. Let's do them. Elemental Overflow. This currency lets you buy eye level 359 primal gear for all non-accessory slots from the Quartermaster
basically more alt catch
with
up.
this stuff.
That's what this stuff is.
Now, 359 is low, but it will be important later. Then we have these 385 BOA gear tokens. So these come from most rare mob kills in the Reach. The only downside is that they are in random armor types and slots when you pick them up. So it's not really a thing where you'll fully gear a character up, but they'll certainly make you pretty happy for a few slots. Then we have Storm Sigils. These are a common drop from rares on the Isle, and you can, on the Reach, and you can use these to upgrade those 359 bits of gear that I just mentioned.
This is the real alt catch-up
up to item level 385.
thing about is upgrading them.
However, try not to spend these until you're done farming those rare mobs, because it would be a real shame if you use your limited Storm Sigils and then just like got a 385 of the same slot from one of the tokens, right? Yeah. You don't want to play yourself, right? Okay.
Don't upgrade everything right away.
Next, then, we've got Untapped Forbidden Knowledge. This is a slightly less common drop after like a day and a half of doing some rares. I have like 2 or 3 of them in my main, but these are basically Storm Sigils 2. As in, these turn the 385 bits of primal gear up to item level 395. Then, don't forget the shiny new ring, the Onyx Amulet. This can go all the way up to item level 424.
I mean, right now it's best in slot. The Onyx Amulet's best in slot for everyone. You can buff it up to 325. 425 item level. We'll see how long it stays best in slot once Aberrus opens. I'd guess probably not long. They said they're not going to carry it forward. I don't think so.
Unless you're doing pretty high Mythic Plus and Heroic rating, this will likely last you all the way through Season 2.
One item level lower than I just said. You can pick
this item up from the Scarab Vaults on the Forbidden Reach. The
vaults
I don't think
it's going to carry through into the next patch.
And it gets up to item level 424 by upgrading the gems that go into it. Basically, you get these dormant fragments from using your vault keys and exploring the vaults, and you'll have plenty of those keys because they also drop from the rares that you'll be farming for the gear.
It wasn't hard to
now, you give these to a jewel crafter via a work order to get unstable elementium, which you then use on the stones. It's a tiny bit more complicated than just upgrade it, but it is certainly worth it to just get that slot locked out with some just really, powerful item level. I mean, come on, 424, that's really big. Now, if you don't know what gems to put in your ring, then hit up your class guides on either the Discords, Wowhead, or Icy Veins, and
get
you
your
can
best
see what
slot
class
gems.
writers are recommending.
Because this ring doesn't have stats, so those gems
if you've completed the weekly Revival Catalyst quest for at least 4 weeks during Season 1, perhaps when you are raiding your main character, then you'll be able to use the charges you'll have accrued on your alts to freely turn that item level 385 and beyond primal gear into tier gear, which means you'll get your tier set bonus, and you'll also unlock the appearance of tier gear at the same time. And here's what's awesome.
It's good for transmog too, if you want.
Catalyze it, so turn it into tier gear at item level 385, then doing that will unlock the normal appearance. And then, when you upgrade it using Forbidden Knowledge, which you still can, up to 395, it'll become heroic raid gear looking, meaning you unlock 2 colorations of the tier set for the price of 1. Pretty sweet. If you've nothing else better to do, then now is the time to perhaps stock up on some early materials. What you can do is check out the heat maps and price history for your realm, various items at
People who do this are fucking next level.
And if the prices look super low, you can buy up. It looks
this is like some economist research shit right here. Looking at imagine taking the time to look at how much a saxifrage are selling for. And they mark it on them, and then deciding to bottle up a bunch of them and get ready to sell them on the auction house.
Exchange. And
this shit's
if
intense.
The prices look super low,
I don't do it, but that's probably why I'm also always broke.
It looks like we'll mostly be using the same consumables. So, while other people don't know that, maybe now is the time to pick things up at a lower
probably
price.
for a good reason.
Looking at vials in our server as an example, the price is almost the lowest it has ever been, which is sure to change.
More power to them, I guess.
Right when time passes in this new raid out. So, vials, potions, food, and enchants, they're almost all the same in the new patch, although there are a few new things coming, like the Shadowflame Wreath weapon enchant from Raid.
Yeah, that enchant's bad. We looked at that last Friday.
It is weaker than existing leg armor, and the hissing
the
rune,
look of it is crazy.
which gives mastery instead of the usual buzzing runes crit. So overall, stockpiling a decent bit is a pretty good way to either save some money or, sell it on later, make some cash. Obviously, this only matters if you have got the gold. I'm sure a lot of people will buy up stock now and flip it for profit later on. And if you can't do that, well, it sure is time to go and do the likes of your dragon riding world quests for those 500 gold pouches. Catching up on professions is generally a pretty good idea. I mean, mats being cheaper will help you there. But in particular, I would suggest taking a look at enchanting and alchemy. Here's the reason why. One of Blizzard's goals of this expansion has been to more deeply integrate professions into the overall game. In 10.07, this happened to jewel crafters, who were vital to the Onyx Amulets upgrade process that I just mentioned a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that's why I leveled up my jewel crafting.
All
the Onyx Amulet shit
is awesome, and it also applies to crafted gear. But to upgrade your crafted gear, you're going to need a thing called an Enchanted Shadowflame Crest. Now, you get the Shadowflame Crest by doing content. Basically, don't worry about that.
Okay.
But what these are is the patch 10.1 equivalent of primal focuses, which were the things you used to upgrade your crafting gear.
Right.
The difference here is that enchanters make them, right? Sort of a similar way
so jewel
to
crafters
how
aren't cool
jewel
anymore.
crafters were making the upgrade item in
I'm not cool
patch
anymore.
10.0.7. So there's probably a decent
I was the hottest girl at the dance.
opportunity there. And another thing that I personally want to experiment with now that I sort of am going to be able to have an old army
it's gonna be Enchanter's
is
time to make
getting
money.
more like single, the limited use crafts done, like daily crafts. I know I've got a few of those on my tailor, but I also want to get a alchemist going. I used to love alchemy back in Wrath of the Lich King, but alchemy with its daily transmutes is a pretty good option because of the new Dracothist transmute. So this is a widely used material in patch 10.1 crafting, and I like the idea of near passive income with an alt army, so I'm probably going to get myself an alchemist and move it towards transmutes for that reason in this patch. The next thing I recommend you do is get your affairs in order.
Good.
Don't worry, the patch
Last
isn't going
week
to be
before
that bad, it'll kill you, but
this video is preparing us for
it's
it.
kind of useful, and this is what I have to do. Getting the Pale Beyond published, over the last mile, that's the video game we developed. It left me in World of Warcraft just raid logging. So now I'm right now
We've all gotten to that
my
stage
renown,
before.
my campaign quests, that sort of thing. What I want to do is maximize each base renown, just fill them all up. I want to finish all my side quests and so on.
Renown's lagging for me.
Patch 10.0.7 quite handily lets you select a reputation to boost every day by 10%. Another example in this is the dragon riding races. 10.1 actually adds a new dragon riding transmog set, and we don't know where it comes from, but maybe it'll come from completing all the advanced races. That kind of seems like a likely candidate.
We're gonna do some dragon riding racing
all the
today on
advanced
stream
races
towards the end.
Gold, like a gold time. It's actually
I want to
no
finish
mean
out my
feat.
trading
It's
post.
really
It's
fun.
today, 24th.
Beyond that, it's the
Almost
usual.
there for the rest.
Clean
for
out
this
your
month.
bags. Come on, you've been putting it off. Finish your quests.
I gotta
Get ready to rock in day one. Do your orc heritage armor, your human heritage armor, that kind of thing. And by the way, in patch 10.1 for the orc and human heritage armor, all you need is, I believe, a level 50 character. They are removing the reputation requirement with the home city, so that'll save you grinding out the rep. Which that's something to not really bother doing.
They should remove it
because you'll just be able to do them in 10.1 if your human or orc, is off level but doesn't have the rep that it needs.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to revamp your UI, absolutely do it now and be ready to go, not having to tweak your UI on launch day. If you want some help there, you can check out our UI guide, our top settings to change guide, which will be particularly useful if you're a newer player to the game, and also our add-ons.
I did get rid of a lot of add-ons with the UI stuff.
And finally, take a
break.
This is a way to prepare. Just spend the next while doing anything other than World of Warcraft. Seriously, the amount of good video
Stream
games right
numbers
now
certainly
is
are down.
Totally
Everyone's
stupid.
taking a break. I can tell.
Yeah, you know, I could talk about the spring air, the lovely flowers, and all the things that happen in the outside. But, I mean, it's going to be a crazy time for games. You got 10.1, then you got Diablo 4. That's probably going to be leading straight into 10.1.5. You know, your legs won't stretch themselves. But other than that, with games, like, there's a lot of really good stuff out right now. I mean, on the horizon, we've got, like, Jedi Fallen Order. The next one, the sequel to that, you've got the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Right.
I've been playing Freelancer, the 2003 space game. Do what you want.
We talked about making Tuesday Variety Tuesday.
Chill out.
Right now it's Mountain Run
World of Warcraft will still be there when you come back. Way for now. And so will me and the rest of the team. We're, of course, always working out how we can get you guys more content and better content. We got big old plans for 10.1.
Not bad.
So
I mean,
subscribe to get all that 10.1.
Most of the stuff I've already done.
The weeks roll on. There's been a whole constellation of videos I've recommended to you within this one, especially in the lore front to help you actually enjoy this patch. So consider checking it out. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
You're a good man, Bellular. You're a good man. Thank you for preparing us. I've done most of this stuff, so really I got to clear out my bags. That's like what I got from this video.